Good morning. For this series of the PNU Talks, we are going to discuss homeschooling for kids. Being in quarantine for a number of weeks, there is a concern in addressing our children's school needs, especially since the traditional school may have had finished 65 or 75% of its contact time. I am Tessa, and our family have been homeschooling for 6 years now. And I am excited to share with you ways on how we are able to do it, I believe successfully. In discussing the tips, I will be getting help from my two homeschoolers.
Hi, I'm Agatha. I am 10 years old and I love reading. Hi, I'm Emma and I'm 8 years old and I love playing Lego.
As homeschoolers, the world is our classroom. But given today's situation, we need to make the best out of it. We need to give ourselves time to adapt to the health crisis. It's not easy to do homeschooling with underlying fear and anxiety. So it's important to take things one step at a time. Before we start with the tips, let me define first some important terms. First, homeschooling can be described as a commitment by parents to personally raise and educate their children. It's family based and usually parent led, sometimes student led too. It's conducive to individualization, and generally, it doesn't take place in a conventional classroom and institutional setting, like your home. Homeschooling families often participate in community activities and use resources open to the children, the public, to enhance the education of the kids. In our case, we have our robotics classes, our music classes, and cooperative learning groups. So when we say homeschooling, our kids are not always at home. They are learning from the communities we have. So we are also affected by the quarantine and the health crisis. On the other hand, the term homeschooling teaching strategies refers to approaches to teaching that can be used with home educated students. Selecting the right strategy for individual students can positively impact the students' learning and retention, thinking skills, motivation to learn, internalization of selected values, and development of constructive character traits. We believe that children will learn every minute they're awake, but they do not have to study the whole time. Half the time, they need to learn by just playing or doing household chores without intervention or instruction from us. And most importantly, parent child relationships should win over teacher student roles. You are their parent first. Tip number one, it helps to integrate subjects and teach concepts using practical everyday scenarios. Integration is key. For example, when watching movies, we can turn them into discussions of lesson learned and how the principles in the movie can be seen and observed with what is happening around us. I think Emma has an example.
Now that we're on quarantine, we always make bread like cakes. I learned more about measurement. Like 1/4 cups is equals to 1 cup, right Ate? Yes, Emma. We also have our morning devotions and reflect on the prayers.
That's right. Tip number two, time management and routines are necessary.
Early on, we learned how to make our to-do list. We make a schedule of our tasks. Now, during quarantine, we are allowed to play a lot, but we do not forget to do our guitar practice, interactive assessment, and our workbooks. Phew!
That's correct. But of course, we don't expect them to do all these things at the same time. They can, for example, do their guitar practice and miss out on doing workbooks, and it's okay. Tip number three, plain conversations about life Even stories from our or their childhood can be teachable moments.
We look at our baby photographs and my photo book. As Nanny tells us about our childhood stories, we also listen to Nanny's stories about his childhood. Nanny told us that she used to bring 2 pesos to school and she will have a soup, sandwich, and drinks, bought from her 2 pesos allowance. Now when we go to the restaurant with our tate, we should have at least 200 pesos to buy lunch and snacks. I am in charge of budgeting our money.
That's correct. We let them handle money and answer the problems in relation to money concerns. Tip number 4, do not label anyone as not good at something and instead say they're still learning how to be good at that. I personally adhere to Carol Dweck's growth mindset and the role of positive emotions in enhancing learning. We should put emphasis on exerted effort, process, and attitude. This happened 2 weeks ago, right, Aga?
It was challenging to learn about the least common multiple. Actually, I had a total headache learning about it. But because Nanay and Tate helped and believed that I can do it, now I am asking them for more practice items. And I did a good job. See?
Sometimes it's not a happy ending. When teaching lessons become a struggle, take a breather. It's important to repair relationships first before resuming lessons. Tip number 5, take up a new something to also learn or finish so you can model how to accomplish tasks on time, efficiently, and successfully. For example, you can have kids do gardening with you. Or, in my case, I took up a course on teaching students online, and my daughters see me taking it and enjoying the lessons.
Our Tita Meg, a homeschooling mommy, taught us how to do sign language, and I'm excited because I see people doing hand signs in the news. Can you give me an example? I like bread.
That's great, Emma. Tip number 6, skip formal instruction and just play and enjoy each other's company.
We enjoy each other's time by playing Scrabble and stack 'em up. We stack small chairs, one on top of the other, and hope that it would not fall down.
That's great. And that we had a nice time, right? Yes. Tip number 7, you do not have to have all the answers, and it is good to let them find or come up with the answers on their own.
I am a grade 5 student, and sometimes I have questions about a lot of things. Tate would encourage me to go back to my lessons and see if I can find the answer somewhere. Sometimes I do not find it. Nana would tell me, let us figure things out and ask me questions. I think they both know the answers most of the time, but figuring it out myself makes learning more interesting.
And tip number 8, remember that while you are teaching your kids, you are also learning. Enjoy it and be gentle with yourself when necessary. While there are standards and guidelines, don't measure your progress and achievement against how traditional schools would because homeschooling works differently. But of course, at this point in time, we are all in one with discussing our kids the importance of the health crisis, for them to value and be grateful to the frontliners, to constantly be in check with their relatives and grandparents, and the importance of taking care of themselves in order to save others. I hope we were able to give you points to ponder during this quarantine period. We would like to thank two special mommies who helped us in making this presentation worth listening to, Mommy Mecca Revalo and Mommy Genevieve Shi.
Thank you, mommies. Thank you, Tatay, for being behind the scenes person.
And
Thank
you for listening. Stay tuned for more PNU Talks. Bye!